And you know, what the EUB board members that I've talked to are crying for is some inclusion in the process. And I am in favor of a BPU. I'm in favor of establishing it with a charter ordinance. But we rushed through it last time. And this is the ordinance that we got, riddled with problems.
I know.
I would like to include the EUB in. I would like to include Colin Hanson from KMUN. Mark, you think I don't want to include Colin Hanson? You think I don't want to include the EUB? I mean, you know, I do. I want to include these people. I want to include Tom Brown, the mayor from McPherson, who I sat and had a 3-hour breakfast with at a League of Kansas Municipalities meeting. I'd like to have Tim, his general manager for the BPU down there, to help be involved in the process. But that's the next step. And that's going to take a little while. That's not going to happen overnight. We're not going to coordinate all these schedules. We're going to have input from Ryan. We're going to have to work around his schedule. This is going to have to be a process. And currently, we are operating with an ordinance which is basically invalid. No less a authority than Merriam-Webster's says, being without foundation in force, in fact, truth, or law. And we've got a 3-page memo here from our city attorney, unanimously selected, that quotes 18 different conflicts with state statute that basically renders the Electric Utility Board in its current configuration as invalid. I don't know about you, but I don't want to have a invalid utility board not really making decisions for us. And you know what? If I was on that utility board, I wouldn't want to be making decisions that I knew to be invalid.
You have no argument from me.
And here's the other thing. If we don't take action as soon as possible, you know, this is like, I'm going to use a Navy analogy, but, you know, you take a torpedo hit in the side of a ship and it's right along the water line. You don't turn around and steam off to the port, I mean not the port, the shipyard, to try and get that repaired. You maintain watertight integrity, you plug the hole, then you go to the shipyard. What we're doing by moving the EUB to an advisory board is plugging the hole. And a trip to the shipyard is what's going to establish the new charter ordinance that establishes a BPU. But if we move forward as a governing body to continue on with an ordinance that doesn't have a firm adherence to the law, or you know, is operating in an unimpaired condition, is not complete, which actually are 3 different things. I went back to Merriam-Webster's about integrity. And as a member of this governing body, and there are 6 of us strong, I don't like the idea that we're going to look like we lack integrity because we're not doing the right thing to fix a problem with a board that's invalid. And if you want to do that, you go ahead. But it's going to be over my strong objections, and you know, anybody that wants to vote with Heath and Steve, go ahead and do it. But I tell you this, if I had a vote, and I don't, I'd be voting to do this now. Not because I don't want a Board of Public Utility, and not because I don't want it established properly by charter ordinance, which our new city attorney has assured us he can do correctly,
Except for the budget.
except for the budget, but that's...
Well, the
you know,
budget reverts to the city anyway, that's already been established.
That's fine. But we know we can get there. Our legal counsel has told us we can get there. But if we don't take action now, then that threatens the integrity of the entire governing body. And if the people that are on the Electric Utility Board want to keep making invalid decisions moving forward, it threatens the integrity of the board. And I love Gardner Energy. And I love the guys on the Electric Utility Board, and I want a BPU. So that's what I've got. Anyone else have any comments or questions?
I move
Chris.
we consider approving ordinance number 2438 to provide an electric utility advisory board for the purpose of providing advice and guidance to the city council on the electric utility, and to further repeal ordinance number 2296 and amend and repeal section 13.20.010 and 13.25.010 of the Gardner Municipal Code with the changes that were documented and discussed earlier.
Second.
Motion Harrison, second Fodovich, that we approve ordinance number 2438 to provide for an electric utility advisory board. Shoot.
No.
Harrison.
Yes.
Fodovich.
Yes.
Freeman. No. Roberts.
No.
That is the end of the new business items, and it takes us to council updates. Does staff have any updates? Well, let's go the other way first. Does council have any updates for staff or questions for staff? I've got a couple, but
Yes,
comments.
I wanted to kind of take a look. I don't know if there's any possibility that I could get consensus from the members of the council here, but I was looking at, I actually read every page of the of new business item number 2 about the fire services. Again, I want to thank the chief, who I think has already left, for providing this to us. And I'd like to re-examine for the long term. I know we've already taken care of it for fiscal year 2014. I want to take a look at, for the long term, going out, seeing how we can provide for, obviously, economic development and growth is a part of this. The intermodal is a big part of this as well. Maybe making some modifications to or replacement agreements for the out years 2015 and on regarding fire protection services for the city of Gardner. Or a city of 20,000 people to outsource their fire protection services to a county entity, as effective as Fire District 1 has been. Don't get me wrong, it has been effective, and they've provided a very good level of service. Knowing that we will be growing, we will be going to larger population totals. We'll be getting to 40,000, I'm sure, at some point in the future. I don't know if there's any entity in the state that has a population of our size that has outsourced fire protection services to a county. So I would like to take a look and see if there may be some alternatives that we might be able to utilize. If I could,
Comments from other council members, questions? Does anybody want to support Steve in his desire to look at fire service for the city of Gardner?
You mean taking it back? Is that what you're proposing?
I'm thinking that a city entity that is devoted to fire protection within the city limits is probably better equipped and more easily able to respond to city incidences than a county entity that we have to rely on for both equipment and support staff. So that's my thing. I know you can leverage outside forces from outside of the city limits to help to leverage, large incidents. But I think from the standpoint of response and being able to make local decisions based on deployment of equipment and manpower, I think we're in a better